Hey, this is Lou Mangello from WDW Radio, and you're listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Let's do this.
The tangent this week continue all the way to episode 242 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast, and the House of Mouse did not disappoint. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like I do every week on the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Bethlehem.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Sally from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
We're finishing out the month of August with dump trunk of Disney goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get to all of that, let's do the non-D23 news, which is really nothing.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because D23 just kind of took over everything. We could probably touch on this, although it somewhat ties into D23.
Yeah.
The whole Sony-Disney Spider-Man thing, but I'm kind of with Lou, because even though Lou was at D23, he did chime in, because a lot of people were like, Lou, what do you think of this? Lou, what do you think of this? Because he's a huge Spider-Man fan.
Right.
And Lou was all like, just wait and see.
Yeah.
Although Kevin Feige was at D23 and confirmed that yes, Sony does want to take the rights to Spider-Man back, but the whole timing of it and the fact that Sony was trying to make it sound like Disney was not playing fair with them and being the bad guy is just, I mean, I don't want to sound like a Disney apologist, because I know there are people that think that Disney can do no wrong, and I know better than that. But at the same time, in the past, and not necessarily with Spider-Man, but other business dealings, Sony has a reputation of not being very smart and being very nice.
No, or they'll agree to something and then say, no, where did I? Yeah.
Right. So it's like, Sony, your reputation doesn't really paint you in a pretty picture.
No, it doesn't. And I don't know if anybody out there watches the Screen Rant pitch meetings on YouTube. They're hilarious, by the way. You should just watch them anyway. But they did one about the whole Sony Spider-Man Disney deal, and like, if you know the format of pitch meeting, it's this guy Ryan George. He basically plays all the parts. He's the executive plus the screenwriter usually, and they go back and forth about various movies and all the funny things. Well, this one, he's the executive for Disney, executive for Sony, and there's the screenwriter who's just kind of caught in the middle of them. And I mean, it's supposed to be funny. It's a sketch, but it also, is very mindful, I guess, of all the everything going on between all the companies. And the screenwriter is just kind of the guy that's like, I'm just trying to tell a story, and in a way he could also be a stand-in for the fans, and like, we just want a good story, so what do we do? It's funny, it's tongue-in-cheek, but it also kind of makes a few good points if you look at it a certain way. So go to YouTube, look up pitch meeting Spider-Man Sony Disney, Google it, or look it up that way, and you'll find it. And it's like, they make some good points in the guise of doing a comedy sketch. So check that out. And it's just it kind of feels like we just got Spider-Man in the MCU, and really, what other, I mean, I guess we still have Thor with Chris Hemsworth is still hanging around, but other than that, it's like, what else? We feel like even more so now. We feel like the MCU is starting from scratch again.
Well, and just the way that they ended Spider-Man Far From Home with that end stinger, it's just like, Sony, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because I'm going to take some of that stuff back in, because I've seen a meme posted on Facebook with this guy that is sweating, and scriptwriter for next Spider-Man movie cannot make any mention of MCU.
Yeah.
It's like, you're painting yourself into a big corner.
Yeah, this ain't gonna work, guys. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jedi Knight isn't going to end the way you think it's going to.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. I did laugh, but I saw somebody post something on Facebook or Twitter or something. They're like, I found a loophole, and it was Spider-Man Far From Home in the all black suit, and it just says Night Monkey.
Monkey, yeah.
Like, it's not Spider-Man. He's European knockoff.
That works.
Although I did like the meme where it purported, you have Deadpool show up and they have Tom Holland in there, and they're like, and it's Nick Fury's coming, and he's like, Parker, what are you doing here? And Deadpool goes, shh, you can't call him that anymore. And then there's like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire living in Deadpool's apartment.
The Spider-Man protection program.
Yeah.
It's like, let's do that.
Yeah. So at this point,
they're back together.
Yeah, I don't think the fat lady is sung on this yet. So,
although I do think it's kind of a jerk move of Sony to pull this right before D23.
Yeah,
or to announce it. So I'm just like, really, guys, really?
You can't tell me that wasn't calculated right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think at this point, like I said, Kevin Feige, he was at D23, and he's like, yeah, it's a thing that's happening, but at this point he's probably just playing nice, knowing full and well it's like, okay, Sony's having their tantrum or whatever at the moment. We're at D23, we're just gonna have our weekend, and then it's like, I'll get back to the office on Monday and we'll see what happens.
It's like, and we'll deal with it from there.
Yeah. So I for now, Spider-Man is going on vacation. Yep. Let's just Peter's last couple of vacations didn't go very well. So at this point, Peter Parker is he's finally getting a proper vacation where he doesn't have to save any lives or anything. So
Nick Fury's leaving him alone, and May is screening the phone calls.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I don't think they can keep the Spider-Man that we've got to know and love in the MCU out for forever.
No.
Money, at the end of the day, money talks, and Disney's got plenty of it.
True.
So.
Yeah, Sony, you might be looking at becoming part of the House of Mouse pretty quick.
I don't know about that, but I mean, at this point, Sony really should think about negotiating, even if it's not the rights for the entire Spider-Man family of characters, because I guess apparently Venom did halfway decent enough, and we don't necessarily need Venom in the MCU.
No, I think
but
I do okay with that.
To be able to get Spider-Man and Aunt May, and obviously with the Stinger, those characters, that particular character into the MCU going forward, I think would be smart. And then Sony can do whatever they want with the rest of Venom and all those ancillary characters, and make their not $1 billion per movie, unlike Spider-Man. So
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is win-win. It's like, yes, Disney's asking supposedly, and this is all
Right.
Sony saying this, but supposedly, according to Sony, Disney's asking for more of like the cut of the money that the Spider-Man movies are making, which, considering both of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies have made $1 billion apiece under the direction of Kevin Feige, and how successful the MCU has been as a whole. I mean, Endgame has become the highest grossing movie of all time. I think the man knows what he's doing and knows how to make $1 with a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, give Disney a bigger cut, but overall, Sony's still going to make a crap ton of money because these movies make a crap ton of money. It's like, would you want 95% of a movie that makes a couple $100 million, or would you like 50% of $1 billion?
Door number 2, Alex.
It's like, this is basic math.
Yeah.
I know math is not my strongest subject, but
Do you want one little itty bitty bit of a candy bar, or do you want half of the candy bar?
Yeah, it's the one Dr. Evil meme that's been going around where, like, you know, his number 2 is like, you know, Marvel, and he's like, with Spider-Man we could make $1 billion, and Dr. Evil's like, but we could make $1 million. Like, no.
Right.
Billions. No. Anyway, watch the interwebs for this custody battle of Spider-Man to continue, I guess. That's what it feels like. It feels like divorcing parents that are fighting over custody of the child.
And I'm just sitting here just kind of rolling my eyes about it all. I'm just like, guys, really?
And then the internet kind of exploded on Instagram because Tom Holland had posted something with him and Robert Downey Jr. somewhere with the caption, "We did it, Mr. Stark," and Mark Ruffalo with open wide eye emoji reaction, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Must have been just some hike that they decided to do and they conquered.
Yeah.
Everybody else, including me, thought, ooh, does this mean there's a deal that we don't know about?
So, yay, drama.
Where would we be without it? Probably very, very peaceful.
Yeah. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's really like the only like non-official D23 piece of fiction news to discuss.
Sony was kind of a curse word during D23.
Yeah,
I know, and it's like, you know, and it's like they knew everybody would come and ask about it, and even with, I mean, because Tom Holland's coming to FanX, and there were posts in the FanX group about, don't ask him about it because he can't say anything about it and blah blah blah, and it's just like, oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's gonna just suck. But what do you do?
Yeah. Odds are he doesn't know anything anyway, because
I'm like, he's not involved in the talks. He's just the guy playing the part. I mean, you know, all that rights and distribution and all that crap, that's above his pay grade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that tidbit there, I do want to once again say thank you. I know I said on our Facebook page, but say thank you to the Children's Museum here in Indianapolis for the invite and ticket to George Takei's appearance at the museum yesterday as we're recording this. He was in town promoting and signing his new book, which is a comic graphic novel about his time as a child in a Japanese internment camp during World War II in the U.S. For those that don't know, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the government thought that it would be appropriate to take anyone who looked like the people that bombed Pearl Harbor, whether they were born in America or not, if you just happen to be Japanese, that they should all be rounded up and put in prison camps. And
Thank you,
George,
FDR.
Yeah, and George had this family lived in one for a couple ones actually for 4 years, not long after his 5th birthday, and he's written this graphic novel to tell that story in a way that will be consumable by both adults and teenagers, because he grew up in the time of comic books when they were popular the first time around, and so that's why he chose this particular format. That, and obviously be Japanese, manga is a very big thing in Japan as well. But he came to the museum yesterday and told a little bit about his story and took some questions from the audience. And then he signed copies of the book people bought, and was a super nice guy. He's a super nice guy. He's very charming, quite funny. He came out and everybody's clapping. He, of course, he does his signature, "Oh my!" And he mentioned that the first time he ever came to Indianapolis was for a Star Trek convention, of course, way back in the day. And even back then, he thought that the way that the city, how we have the monument in the city center with the circle around it, was very unique and kind of mesmerizing. So when he came into town yesterday, that he got to go by it again and just thought it was really cool. And then came to the museum. The person that was bringing him, came to the museum, and the way the Children's Museum is laid out is there is a wing of the building where there are dinosaurs. It looks like there's a hole in the side of the building, and there are dinosaurs crawling in it or crawling out of it. And then there's a couple of dinosaurs at the front entrance as well. The front entrance is all glass, and there's a dinosaur up on its hind legs looking up and through the glass into the museum. And then there's another smaller one inside the museum. So it's like they're trying to sneak into the museum or see what's going on inside the museum. And he just thought that was really cool. But it was a very entertaining, moving experience to hear him talk about it. And it was a pleasure to get to meet him shortly for a short stint when I was getting my book signed. I got to shake his hand. We spoke podcasting for a short minute because he has just launched his own podcast called Oh My Pod,
cool.
talking about social issues, race and politics and that sort of thing. And the first episode had just been released a few days prior, and I told him I downloaded it and was looking forward to listening to it. And he said he appreciated that. And I told him, as a fellow podcaster, that it's always nice to see someone jump into the medium and help, boost the awareness of the medium. Because even though podcasting is growing, there's still a lot of people out there that do not even know what a podcast is. And he said, he likes likes utilizing every platform that he can to try to further the causes that he is passionate about. He and his husband Brad was just kind of walking around talking to people, signing their books as well, even though he really had nothing to do with the book itself, but he appears in it because it goes on to George's life post the war as well, and how it affected his life going forward, and that includes him meeting Brad and them eventually getting married and that sort of thing. So that was kind of fun to be able to get Brad to sign it too. So, but yeah, it was fun. I know the museum live streamed it on their Facebook page. I don't know if it's still watchable after the fact. I guess if you go to the museum's Facebook page and go to like their videos and see if it's there. If it is, obviously watch it. It was, like I said, it was very entertaining. But yeah, it was a fun way to spend a Sunday afternoon, considering I'm not into sports or anything like that. So it was fun to do. So, and like I said, I'm appreciative to the folks at the Children's Museum that recognize that there would be folks that they invite as far as press coverage for other events, that they would include some of us when sending out those invites. So Tony was there as well, although Tony got there before I did. It was in the Lilly Theater, which is where they hold like their stage shows. It's on the smaller side, but it's still a theater. And so Rachel, it's got that type of, yeah.
I did check their Facebook page, and they do have the 20-minute video from the presentation.
Okay, good.
Of his.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure they did not keep the live stream going once they were doing the book signing, because that would not have been very entertaining.
Yeah. So it is there. I got
standing
it
in line
bookmarked to watch after the podcast.
Yeah. So I guess Tony got there before I did and had gotten a seat closer to the front. And then some mutual friends of ours showed up and sat closer to the top because they had their kid with them. And if the kid got restless, that way they could get up and walk out and let him blow off some steam instead of making noise, I guess. I don't know. So Tony went up and sat with them. It's like, oh, I'm gonna sit with people I know. So then I got there, and they were all sitting up towards the front, and there were a few open seats, but I didn't necessarily want to sit that high just because I didn't know what the sound was going to be like, and I'm old. So I was like, I'm gonna go a little closer to the front so I can hear and see better, which ended up working out well, because when it came to do the book signing, they went row by row, starting at the bottom and going to the back. So Tony was one of the last rows to go and get the book signed. So Tony even tweeted at one point, he's like, I was sitting to the closer, but then I moved to sit closer to friends, and now they're going front to back. It's like, I have chosen poorly. Yes, you have.
Oops.
Yep.
Get for sitting with friends.
Yeah. I was like, that's what you get for being social. So that was my day yesterday. There are some pictures posted on our Facebook page. Some pictures I took, and then they had someone that was taking people's phones and taking pictures as people were getting their book signed, chatting with George and stuff. So that was fun. And then reminder, there's still time as we're recording this, and this will be released, to enter the giveaway. So the Golden Girls bundle has more entries than the Bad Mochi one. So depending on your preference, If you don't really have a preference, the odds might be better in your favor with the Badmoji at this point. Of course, that can always change between now and when entries close.
Now everybody's going to be like, oh, my odds are better with that one. I'm going to... And then
Yeah,
that one
it'll switch, probably. But yeah, you still have time to enter, so get on it because it's free stuff. Who doesn't love free stuff?
And another little bit of housekeeping. You still have a few days to make your book choice on the book club or the Doctor Who book club, Traveling Vortex.
Yep.
Still at a tie. So go ahead and vote. Try coin flip, and one book for this month, one book for next month.
Yep. And then let's do feedback. We got some feedback from Shalane. She commented on a few things that we've mentioned recently. She says that she has read for this upcoming season of The Crown that they will have the moon landing, which that would make sense as far as the time period. So that would be kind of cool to see how they do that. She says, I read the actress who played Robin in Stranger Things is the daughter of Uma Thurman, which that's right?
Yes.
Is that her mother? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I knew who her father was. But
Yeah.
mother.
When I was watching the episode, I was like, she looks so familiar, but at the same time, not. And then I read who her parents were, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like she really looks like her mom.
Yeah. She says a lot of TV shows and movies I've seen deal with the Russians. Yeah, they're a popular adversary, I guess.
Especially during the Cold War. I mean, watch most James Bond movies.
Yeah, anything pretty much from the 60s to the mid 80s. Yep. Our history with the Russians is long. So.
Yep. Russians, even the Germans.
Yeah.
They make for easy bad guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Depending on what historical time period you're talking about.
Yeah. She said that the actress who plays Susie is a fan of the movie The Never-Ending Story, which, yeah, I think I read that too, and I think I read that's part of why they chose that song. I think they were planning on doing something different, and then realized that this worked better in the fact that the kids were fans of it. Just made it a bonus.
They were gonna do something like from Tolkien, like the something about the Ents and the Entwives, but they couldn't get the rights, or it didn't make sense, or I think it was more a rights issue. But I think that worked better.
Yeah. Yeah, she says she also loves during the Never-Ending Story duet with Hopper and everyone else are like, why are you singing? What are you doing? Why are you singing? You're wasting time.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, come on.
Reactions. Yeah.
Like, we need to get going.
Yeah.
Your buddies will not be around too much longer if you don't.
Yeah, really. She also says that there were a lot of references to popular culture like Aliens, Terminator, Die Hard, even though those things she's not seen, but she recognizes the Easter eggs. So she said she also heard some of the music from Back to the Future playing at one point when the kids are at the mini market, supposedly. So. She also said the Russian guy that Hopper fought does kind of look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think that's what they were going for.
Indeed.
Yep.
Let's see. She mentions that there's a new Little Women movie coming out. Yeah, we got the trailer for that. That's probably one of those books that I may have read as a kid in school, but I don't remember much of it. And that's not really my cup of tea as far as consumption, books and adaptations and stuff. Like, I have no interest. I'm sorry. I know some people, you might want to take my woman card from me, but I'm sorry, but like, I have no interest in reading or watching any adaptation of anything Jane Austen.
Well, I mean, I've tried to get
like
into
that.
Little Women. I mean, I like Jane Austen. Little Women is not Jane Austen, but
I know that, but it's just that
period drama. I know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, I've
that-
tried to get into Little Women and I just can't.
It's kind of that same vein where it's just it seems very feminine and period, and that's just so not my thing. So
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever even read Little Women at all. I don't think, like, any of my school, I don't remember reading it.
I remember reading it in grade school.
I have friends who are like really obsessed with like Little Women and like Louisa May Alcott. Like, one of them, they recently had a baby and named her after one of the characters, and it's not like a name you would recognize. In fact, when I heard the name they were naming their kid, I was like, what the heck is that even from? Oh, now I understand. And so it's this kind of like, okay, you know what? You do you.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's got their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More power to you. It's just not my thing. So no offense to Jane Austen and Louisa May Alcott and all those other writers like that, but your stuff's just not my
That's
thing.
okay.
Sorry. Oh. That being said, what is my thing is Disney. How's that for a transition?
We never would have guessed, Rachel.
Yes.
We never would have guessed.
I'm sitting here wearing a t-shirt that's got the castle on it. It says home. So yes, D23 Expo, Disney's equivalent of Comic-Con, except theirs only happens every other year. So it's been 10 years since the first one, but this is only the 5th event. But it was chock full of all sorts of Disney excitingness and goodness. It's funny to see how this one differs from. I remember watching, via the internet, the very first one, and how it was Disney. Of course, you had like Pixar too, but it was just Disney because the Lucas and Marvel purchases were not a thing yet. Mm-hmm. So the properties was like, I remember the very first D23 Expo when they announced the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie with Johnny Depp showing up dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow, and I lost my freaking mind. I'm like, this is like the coolest thing ever. And now here it is 10 years later, and the convention kicked off Friday with the Disney Legend ceremony, and they were live streaming it, most of it. Any musical performances they don't show, I think, for copyright reasons, even though it's their music. But for some reason they don't show the musical performances. But watching Robert Downey Jr. be the first one to get the Legends Award in the ceremony, and they're showing, this nice video package of, stuff Robert has done from his early career, doing like Chaplin and films like that, and then obviously eventually becoming Tony Stark / Iron Man, and showing clips from his unprecedented number of appearances as Tony Stark on the screen, and Jon Favreau talking about how he was really the only choice and the best choice for the role. And I'm at my desk at work, trying not to blubber like a baby. Like, this is the best thing ever. So, partially because, it is like the best thing ever. And then part of me is also like, there's no more Tony's Stark.
I know, that was the exact same way. It's like,
that Marvel What If series needs to have a moment where Tony doesn't die. I know it's not going to happen, but
yeah,
please give it time. Give it time.
Someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and Robert kind of even made Bob Iger squirm a little bit with his story after he came up on stage.
So,
a little youthful indiscretion.
Yeah.
At a young age.
Yeah. It's just a good way to kick off the D23 weekend. That's their big thing that kickstarts everything. And of course, there's all sorts of events and panels and presentations, and it's fun just seeing people's pictures on social media, from people I know that are there, and then just other people just posting and using the hashtags and all that, and just to see the crazy costumes that people come with. They always have a costume contest, and people it's major. Their costume contest. People have to enter beforehand and submit pictures and stuff just to try to get into the contest. And some of the designs that people come up with are just absolutely nuts. The gal, they have different categories, and then they pick an overall winner. They pick a category winner and then an overall winner, and the gal that won her category and ended up winning the overall prize, which includes $2,300 or something like that, had built a ball gown essentially that was a replica of the Haunted Mansion, complete with moving doom buggies.
Wow.
It actually moves the ride vehicles on her dress. This is great. It's all right.
How much does that weigh?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just it's madness as far as the crowds. Again, just like a lot of comic conventions, you want to do and see everything you can't, and you really have to pick and choose your battles as far as where you want to devote your time. The lines just to get into the merchandise, to buy the exclusive merchandise, is always super long. They have celebrity meet and greets and all sorts of just amazingness, and I really, really want to go one of these years. So I'll get there eventually. Mm-hmm. But that being said, because we live in an age of the internet, nothing gets announced or presented without it getting out, which they don't really try to keep things secret at all. But they do. We don't get to see necessarily everything that people who attended get to see. Some of the presentations will get official pictures. Sometimes we'll get pictures that people post on social media. A lot of times we don't get video of those presentations. So if something was said and someone hasn't bothered to tweet it or anything, we miss out on that. But the big stuff, Disney is usually pretty good about pushing out on their official channels on social media, with at least some information. Instead of breaking this down by presentation, just because there's a lot of overlap as far as properties are concerned, instead I've broken this down by property, I guess. So let's start with anything related to Disney's TV and movies that's Disney and or Pixar and or Disney Plus that's not Marvel or Star Wars. Does that make sense? Because Marvel and Star Wars are their own thing.
Yep.
So yeah, because Disney Plus, Disney streaming service, it does launch this November. If you attended D23 and or a D23 member, you can log in and sign up. Go ahead and sign up for Disney Plus, and they are offering a discounted rate for a 3-year plan. Although apparently that is just Disney Plus. So if you want the Hulu add-on, you're actually going to have to cancel and re-sign up in November if you want the Disney Plus and Hulu together, which is kind of dumb if you ask me. But I'm not a D23 member, but I already have Hulu, so I'm just as soon as they open it up to the public, I'm like, yes, please, add on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm looking at it.
Up. And it's like, oh, please, after what news dropped. I mean, I had intentions of signing up for it anyway, but when they started dropping all this is like more incentive.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm already paying that price for Hulu. I might as well just,
Yeah. See, at the moment, I'm not, because I got the Hulu post-Thanksgiving special, so I'm only paying $0.01 a month.
Yes. I splurged for the ads thing.
I got that it's only good for a year, which is I got it after Thanksgiving, so it goes until the end of November anyway. So I would have had to start paying regular price at the end of November anyway.
So there you go.
Not a biggie in this case. So
me, I have to talk to my sister.
Yeah.
Because we share streaming services, I guess is the best way to say it. And she has the Hulu side of it, so.
Just offered to cover, excuse me, thank you. Just offered to cover some of the cost, so.
Yep, it's like, we'll work all this out, don't worry.
Yeah. All right, so that being said, these are some of the things that Disney has announced are coming to Disney Plus. Some things we have trailers for because they're coming sooner rather than later. Others we just have descriptions or maybe just a single still image. So if that. Also prefacing this, I read, I'll have to see if I can try and find the article, but I guess also D23, they have confirmed that TV series or anything that's not a movie, but something that's going to have multiple episodes, those will be dropping one episode at a time. They will not be doing big batch drops
so no binging.
No binging.
Well, binging after it's all dropped.
Well, yeah.
Not initially.
Yeah. You're not going to, it's not like some of the Netflix series, Stranger Things drops, you can just binge the entire thing. It's not going to be like that. So keep that in mind. So if we've got a release date and it's a multi-episode series, just know that release date is just for the premiere episode, not the entire series.
I can live with that.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be plenty to watch. So it's like while you're waiting, there's going to be other things to watch.
and it's in November, so it's winter. I mean, are you going to go out and you're not running out to go outside or anything?
Yeah.
Go swimming.
Yeah.
You might be going on vacation because holidays and stuff, but
So dropping on November 12th, which is launch day for Disney Plus, will be the live action remake of Lady and the Tramp. So this is going to be a feature-length film with Tessa Thompson and Justin Theroux as the voices of Lady and the Tramp, respectively. And we've got a trailer for that, and it looks adorable. The dog that they got to play the Tramp apparently is a rescue from a pound.
Yes, I thought I heard rumor that all the animals that were used were rescues. Don't quote me on that, but which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, at least for the ones where, well, I guess even if you need a specific breed, there are breed specific rescues out there. So it's like Lady is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, but yeah, I'm sure they could probably have found one from a rescue that specializes in that particular breed. So, so that will be available on launch day, along with High School Musical, the series.
That's a mouthful.
Yes.
Oh,
so
boy.
This is a 10-episode scripted series. So think like The Office or Parks and Rec, kind of combined with Glee, where it's set at East High, which is a real life high school where they filmed the High School Musical.
It's actually in Salt Lake, and
movies.
It's like not. I know exactly where it is, and that's like their big claim to fame. I mean, it's like one of the biggest high schools in the state. First off, but it's all. I mean, yeah, you go down there and you're like, we were in High School Musical, and it's a huge thing.
But the premise is that even though High School Musical was filmed at this school, the school itself has never put on a production of High School Musical. So the series is going to follow them doing such with your traditional typical high school drama: who's dating who broke up with who wants to be a star, who doesn't.
Oh my gosh, these guys are gonna be so insufferable. I'm sorry. I just
who's gonna be running for council president, who's not. Oh boy.
Okay, can I just say, I mean, I never got into the High School Musical thing. It was after my time. My younger sister was into it, but it's just when it was a big thing and it was always in the news, like, see the real high school where the High School Musical is like, yes, we know, shut up. So I'm like, no, there's a basically not really a reality show, but kinda at this place. I'm like, all right, guys, like you needed bigger heads, but okay, whatever. I'm being a curmudgeon. That's just me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to rain on anyone's parade, but oh my gosh.
If you love it, that's good, but
you know what?
Category of not quite for us.
Yes.
We can see the appeal, but not for us.
We're just a bit too old for it.
I mean, it came out when I was in high school, but I still I don't even watch it because my health class had it on.
I just thought it was like one of the the run of the mill cheesy Disney Channel original movies, and then it got a sequel, and then it got a theatrical release, and then it got a whole bunch of other stuff, and I'm like, what the heck? And maybe it's because it's local to me, or the where they filmed it is local to me. That's probably why I got so sick of it.
Could be. So there's that.
There's that.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's happening.
Enjoy it if it's your thing. Enjoy it. I'm just sitting here going, oh boy.
Also premiering on launch day. I know Chauncey's very excited about this because this is his man crush. Is a series called The World According to Jeff Goldblum. So it is a series. It says each episode is centered around something we all love, like sneakers or ice cream, as Jeff pulls the threads on these deceptively familiar objects and unravels a wonderful world of astonishing connections, fascinating science and history, amazing people, and a whole lot of surprising big ideas and insights. And occasionally Jeff may break out into song, according to the trailer.
I'm actually pretty excited for this too.
You know what? I saw it. I saw the announcement of it on Facebook. I was like, what the heck? What the random? And then I read the description and I'm like, you know what? This is just so kooky it might just work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now my dream would be is if Bill Nye would somehow slip in and make a cameo appearance.
Yeah.
10 times cooler.
So yeah, because Chauncey doesn't really go on social media much, so unless somebody tells him to. So I was obviously trying to keep up on what was coming at D23 Expo, and I said something to him the other night. I said, "Did you see your boy is going to have his own series on Disney Plus?" He's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Jeff Goldblum." He's like, "Sweet." So again, if we weren't already going to get the service, we definitely are now. Disney is there's also going to be a series called One Day at Disney, where it's going to be a short form series. So the episodes are going to be really short, like less than 10 minutes, but each one is going to profile a person who works for Disney, and it could be in any capacity. It could be anyone from a janitor up to some, one of the caretakers for the animals at Animal Kingdom Park to an Imagineer. It's going to actually kick off with a feature-length documentary, which was going to cover people like Robin Roberts, who works for Good Morning America, and Disney animator Eric Goldberg. So that's kind of cool that they're going to let the less notable names who work for the Disney company to help keep the company going get their moment in the spotlight. So
I imagine the janitors at Disney have some very interesting stories. That's the one. I mean, I'm not just being silly. I genuinely think there's got to be some fun information from those folks.
Yeah, and that is going to debut, of course, premiere December 3rd. So that's not going to be a launch day availability. And then a couple of things that we don't have dates yet, but we know are coming is we're getting the return of the Muppets in a series called Muppets Now. And it's also going to be a short form series, so shorter than a TV episode. But it's going to be unscripted. So how that's going to work with the Muppets, I don't know, but it should be entertaining.
Well, I will say this: I saw the Facebook announcement, and it was like in the form of a memo from Kermit, but it was heavily redacted thanks to Joe the legal weasel, and I was like, okay, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Muppets unstuffed.
Yes. And then once again, dipping into the nostalgia markets, we are getting a new series of Lizzie McGuire with Hilary Duff reprising the role. So we're going to get Lizzie McGuire all grown up.
Okay.
Also from Disney, but not necessarily Disney Plus, but movie releases. Disney has announced one of their next animated features that's going to be called Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon. That is going to be released in theaters November of 2020. Pixar has got a movie in the works called Soul. Apparently it's about a jazz saxophonist that apparently loses like his mojo or something right before a big audition or something like that.
So is this like a reverse of that Beatles movie? That
I don't just based on the premise and the few images of like concept art they released, it almost looks like it could be like Inside Out. If you saw Inside Out, except it has to do with the soul instead of feelings.
So this isn't instead of what if feelings had feelings? What if your soul had feelings?
I guess I don't know.
Okay.
They have beyond that, and that they actually have not had like a premise released that I've seen. I only got that description from I think one of the voice actors had posted something on social media, and that's what they said the premise is. So we'll kind of have to wait until Disney Pixar releases an official like synopsis to get a better idea, I guess. And we don't have a release date for that yet. And then we got our first image look of Emma Stone, I think, as Cruella de Vil in Disney's Cruella. So we're getting a movie similar to Maleficent, but with Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, because at first I thought, oh no, they're not doing another live action 101 Dalmatians. Well, in a sideways way, not really, but yes.
And that is going to release in theaters May 28th, 2021. So that is Disney, Pixar, non-Star Wars and Marvel. So moving on to Star Wars. Disney's Star Wars The Clone Wars, which we have anxiously been awaiting the return of, so that we can finally get the resolution of Ahsoka Tano's storyline, among other things.
Yes.
That will be released on Disney Plus in February 2020.
Gives me enough time to finally finish. I started that series twice.
Yeah.
Keep getting distracted. So now I need to sit down and watch. Like I'm loving what I've seen. I easily get distracted by other.
Yeah.
Stories.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. I know.
I'm hoping that in the meantime that Rebels will be on Disney Plus so I can watch it because I've not seen it. So
it's good, but
yeah, that's what I've heard. I have not had a chance to watch it. So
and I wanted to go back and rewatch, and by that time, no more streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of been my hang up too.
Yeah. And then I think to absolutely nobody's surprise, because this has been one of Disney's worst kept secrets. We don't tend to talk about rumors just because rumors are rumors, but every now and then the rumor mill will get going. We'll get rolling with something that turns out to be truth, and looking in hindsight, you're like, oh, Disney, you did not do a very good job of keeping that secret. So in this case, yes, Disney has announced that Ewan McGregor will be returning to play Obi-Wan Kenobi in a yet entitled series that will be on Disney Plus.
That makes me so happy, because I was so upset when after Solo, when they were like, oh, we have to put all of our side stories on hold, and I'm just like, but you could have done an Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so we want Kenobi. We want Kenobi.
Yeah,
yes.
Jared and I were out having lunch when that dropped, and I squeed in public. I was very happy.
That's one of the few news pieces that I did see during the weekend, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, it was mostly people going, I knew it, because
yes.
It's been one of those things that's been floating around for quite a while.
Well, it's kind of one of those things. It's like when they very first announced Disney owns Star Wars. Now it's like, okay, you got to get Ewan McGregor back. Oh, come on, he was in your Christopher Robin movie. Why don't you get him back for, throw Jedi robes on him and put him on a set? I don't care. Do something with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'd say no.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure wielding a lightsaber is just like riding a bicycle. Just toss it at him; it'll come right back to him.
I mean, he was everyone you talk to. It's like he was one of the best parts of the prequels. Everybody loved him.
Mace Windu.
Yes, and Mace Windu. I mean, you've got Samuel L. Jackson on the payroll. Granted, Mace Windu is not among the living anymore, supposedly, but.
Well, the Emperor is not supposed to be amongst the living either, and we're getting him back. So there's precedent there, possibly.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's like Darth Maul came back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, between Rebels and all those other shows, it's like how many Jedi actually survived?
Yeah.
66. At this point, it's not really
I
that big of a problem anymore.
Yeah, at this point, you could just be like, "Oh, Mace Windu like managed to grab a hold of a ledge or something,
Yes.
and realized that he went into
whatever.
hiding because he realized that his life was in danger. So he decided to, crawl into a hole somewhere, and he's been hiding ever since.
So basically,
there you
the
go.
Star Wars universe's
It's
version
not
of
as thorough
Tahiti.
as we thought. As he thought. Like,
I mean, Ahsoka Tano survived Order 66,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
this could be a thing.
or the Force Ghost is just like, okay, I've had enough. It's time for me to come back in corporeal form and take care of some business.
it's like, Luke, you're being a dork.
Yes.
Yep. Take that line from Snakes on a plane, and take a line from Snakes on a plane, substitute Snakes for Jedi or something,
Yeah.
Well, and then also substitute, his Nick Fury speech and replace Shield with the Jedi Council.
Yeah. I recognize the Council's made his decision.
But I have chosen
It
to
still
ignore it.
works. I
It
recognize the Council's made
Oh
his
my
decision.
gosh, this might save the franchise. Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness. There you go.
It's like Lucasfilm, call us. We got this. We got this.
Yes.
We've got some nuggets.
Basic plot. We've already got some script laid out. He already knows that one line. We all know that line. So
Somebody happened to watch the Avengers last night, and
you can get Kathleen Kennedy to retire. We'll take over.
Yeah,
we'll do it right.
Yes. And we'll work. Yeah, we'll take whatever you're paying Kathleen Kennedy, pay it to us. Just split it 4 ways. And we'll take it. I'll take a quarter of what Kathleen Kennedy was making to share with these guys.
Sure. Yeah. Like, dude, we got better ideas than what you're crapping out. So.
Yeah. We just got a few friends we need to keep on retainer.
Yep.
So it's all good. Yep.
Yes.
Call up a few of the Star Wars authors from Legends and the current tribe and bring them into fold as well.
Yep.
Get Timothy Zahn on the phone.
Yep.
Yep. Get Kevin J. Anderson and a few others and call it good.
We got this.
Yep.
Done. In the meantime,
back to
now that we've ticked everybody off.
In the meantime, the things that are in production or already have been filmed.
Yes.
We've got a trailer for the Mandalorian series.
That looks
good.
That looks really, really good.
Well, and then there was a surprise drop during the Legends induction.
Yes, that apparently Ming-Na Wen is not unemployed.
No.
She's already moved on. She's like, I've been a Disney princess. I'm part of the MCU. What's next? Star Wars, apparently. And Ming-Na Wen is going to be part of The Mandalorian, playing a yet unnamed part.
Yay.
Yeah. Some people are hoping she might play the Dr. Aphra character, or this could be a totally unnamed new character. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yes. But yes, it does look really cool.
Yes.
And then we have gotten a kind of trailer-ish for The Rise of Skywalker, because like half of it is covering with clips from the original trilogy before it goes into some clips from the 2 previous new trilogy movies that we've got from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And then then it kind of ends with a few clips that we've not seen yet from The Rise of Skywalker, including Rey and Kylo Ren fighting on a ship in the middle of a sea storm or something. And then a look at what appears to be Sith Rey, which take that as you will. You know, that could be any number of things. That could be a vision. It could be, who knows?
It could be a clone. It could be a Palpatine mind
She
trick.
does look really badass though as a Sith.
Yes,
though.
with the double-bladed red lightsaber.
Yeah, with a hinge on it.
Yeah, and then when she throws it out, it looks like Darth Maul's from Phantom Menace. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, we also see the Rey we know and love doing some pretty badass things with the lightsaber that she's got. You know, cutting down trees and having it come right back to her like a boomerang. It's like, alrighty then. Yeah, the Force is strong with you. So The Rise of Skywalker, it looks like it's going to be fun, but again, I'm not the percentage of the fandom that lost their mind after The Last Jedi, so I've been perfectly content with the series, and the fact that J.J. Abrams is behind the steering wheel for this one, I think will help.
We can only hope. I know a lot of people who were not pleased, and I was actually one of them. I mean, I haven't gone totally crazy saying everything on social media because I don't feel like I need to, but I'm like, I'll say it this way: I am more excited for Mandalorian and the Obi-Wan series than I am for Rise of Skywalker. That's just me.
And somebody said that JJ had said questions will be answered, and okay, here's hoping.
You mean that hopefully the ones that they didn't totally throw out in the trash in the last one.
Yeah, that, and then I'm just like, but then I can remember you said that about a little certain TV show you ran too.
Yeah, that one.
That didn't work out too good. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping for the best, but
I am too. I was like, I'm cautiously optimistic with this. Not because not because I've been greatly upset with the way that the franchise has been run, because I'm not that huge of a Star Wars fan to begin with, so I don't have that emotional attachment to it that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So, as someone who was familiar with the franchise enough and has come to enjoy it more actually since The Force Awakens, but where was I going with this? But I don't. So, like I said, I don't have that emotional attachment to it. My biggest concern is because of what they had said as far as what they had intended the storyline to be through these three movies, and how they had to adjust that greatly because of Carrie Fisher's passing.
Right.
So it's like, how much of the story are they still getting? Because I read somewhere that I guess JJ said that, Leia and Carrie are still the heart of this movie, because that's what the intention was, and where they were wanting to go is Leia was supposed to play a very, very big part in this last movie, but because of Carrie's passing, that obviously threw a wrench in everything. So that is what it is. It can't do anything about it, but it will be interesting to see just how they were able to work with what they had as far as footage of Carrie to still tell a story that made sense. So that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and that is a consideration.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think people need to kind of keep in the back of their mind going into this movie.
I don't think that's a huge problem for people. I think a lot of what's happened is some of the fallout from the last movie and the way some people in higher up responded to the criticism. That's what's not sitting well with a lot of people, and I can understand why. Because I don't want to be told, oh, you didn't like our movie. Well, it wasn't for you. And it's like, well, who was it for then? And and I don't want to get into the whole, because it's been hashed over a gazillion times. And if you want to go find it, you can easily find it online somewhere. But I do think there was a point there, and some people were very, very upset about it, and rightfully so.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're not going to show up and give you our money just because you slapped a Star Wars logo on it and told us to.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, like I said, I'm still excited for Mandalorian and for the Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus. It's like, I will fork over my money for that.
And then there's the Rogue One with Cassian. I think they're going to have Cassian Andor and Alan Tudyk reprising his role as the lovable robot.
Yep.
I like that. I liked him. Rogue One was a good movie. I know not everybody loves it, but I think it was one that they did well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Marvel, because Marvel they did drop a lot at San Diego Comic-Con, so I wasn't expecting like necessarily huge announcements because we got that Phase 4 timeline recently, but they couldn't do D23 without at least a little something. So, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got their moment. They have not really had a presence at D23 since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was first announced. That was kind of like the last time that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was really done at D23. So they had a panel at this year's event. People that attended got to see the first episode of season 7 already.
Jealous.
Yeah. From what without looking too much into it in fear of spoilers, because we've got a long time till the season premieres, but from just base initial reaction without any sort of details, people loved it. So, and we did get a kind of not trailer, but just kind of a short clip. And it has established that at least for part of it, it is 1931. New York 1931, and it appears that at least some of the Chronocoms have followed Team S.H.I.E.L.D. to 1931 and are up to no good.
Yep.
So that's exciting. I'm glad to hear that it's good and people are enjoying it. So, not that was going to stop me from watching it anyway. People could have said this is absolute crap. I would still watch it, but
it's still nice to hear good feedback.
Yes. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that helps you get excited for it.
Yeah. And then if your calendar goes out far enough, beyond Phase 4. If you want to start making notes for Phase 5, they have announced that Black Panther 2 is going to be released May 6, 2022, and Ryan Coogler is coming back to direct the sequel. So.
Nice.
I had wondered why there wasn't an announcement of a sequel at San Diego. I was like, I thought that was like one of their great big, huge new money makers, and
it is.
It is.
Yep. Just gotta wait a little bit longer.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep. And then going back to Disney Plus again, as if all the series we already knew were coming, like WandaVision and What If and Falcon and Winter Soldier and all those fun things, weren't enough, they announced 3 more series coming to Disney Plus with Marvel characters, including Moon Knight.
Yep.
Who is Moon Knight, or as his, I guess, non-superhero, made up name, as Peter Parker said, Mark Spector, who is a...
That still sounds like a superhero
Yeah,
name.
really. It sounds like it sounds like a name. His kind of origin story is he is a former CIA agent who was almost killed by a terrorist named Bushman before his life was saved by the moon god Khonshu. And now he's got 4 different personalities that fight for control over his body.
Okay, that is totally not where my mind went when when I heard the title of this.
Yeah, that is not something you would expect from Moon Knight.
Yeah. Okay, so in Sailor Moon, in the original 90s anime, there was an arc that was just filler while they waited for the manga to catch up or something. Anyway, there was sort of a there was a character called the Moonlight Knight who was the I don't know how to explain him really, but he was there, and it was a romantic sort of fluffy girly sort of thing. Anyway, there's an explanation for it, and it's too long to go in here, but that's what I thought of. Look it up.
Not quite the same thing.
Not the same thing. Not at all.
Yeah. I believe, I don't know what the episode number is, but I believe Capes on the Couch has done an episode on Moon Knight.
Okay.
So if you want to check their past podcast episodes, I believe they've gone into Moon Knight to discuss him. And another one coming is She-Hulk, which is based on her non-powered name is Jennifer Walters, who develops her own Hulk powers after getting a blood transfusion from her cousin Bruce Banner.
She-Hulk is when they were.
Yeah, She-Hulk is interesting. Well, I'm actually kind of surprised considering Hulk, kind of like Spider-Man, is one of those characters where Disney/Marvel doesn't have complete control over the character license.
Well, maybe She-Hulk is a different thing.
Well, and the fact that it's considered, I guess, considered TV and not feature film may make a difference too.
That could be.
Yeah. But She-Hulk is interesting because she has similar powers to the Hulk. She turns green. She's extra strong, that sort of thing. But when she is hulked out, she is in complete control still. She has all of her mental faculties, and actually she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So
you'll see images of her, like comic book images, like she actually
in a suit, like
she's in a
well hulked out.
Yeah, and that's totally in character with the story. So it's like,
yeah.
I mean that's one of the characters. It's like, okay, yeah, you guys need to do this. If you don't do this, there's something very wrong.
Yeah. Well, and considering where they left Bruce Banner /Hulk at the end of Endgame, it's like, really, where else can you go with him?
Right.
So bringing in another version, someone else with similar abilities, and in this case, she also happens to be a relative of Bruce, which means they're going to have to be very. Not that I doubt that Marvel can't do this well, because their casting person is a genius and deserves all the cookies in the world. But obviously their casting person is going to have their hands full to make sure that they cast someone who not only makes a good She-Hulk, but also makes a good Jennifer, and is also believable as someone who could be related to the Bruce Banner that we know.
Yeah.
Slash Mark
yeah.
Ruffalo. So
yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I am
No.
I am looking forward to this one because that's one character that I'm like, it's like why hasn't anyone ever done anything with her? And now they're doing it. So yay.
yeah. But she's definitely one of those because of that. Not really two personalities because she's able to keep her personality when she's hulked out, but still that dual, quote unquote personality, because that's the only way I can think of putting it, is you need someone that can do both roles. Right. That's why Mark Ruffalo is such a good choice. And because he makes a really good Bruce Banner, but he also makes a really good Hulk.
Yeah. I just hope that they can differentiate because at the, like you said, the end to end game, Bruce Banner, he's kind of, he's
Professor Hulk.
He's Professor Hulk. So it's kind of the same thing. Well, a similar thing. So it's like, let's differentiate these two, that they're very different characters and you're not just doing a copy of one.
Yeah.
Which they're not. I don't know. What am I trying to say? It's like.
But it's kind of like Superman and Supergirl. They're cousins.
Yeah.
So.
But it's like,
but that they're their own people.
Bruce took so long trying to figure out how to be Bruce and the Hulk. And then he comes out with Professor Hulk. So let's not make this, it's just Professor Hulk just as a girl.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be a problem, but it is something I thought of when I was like, okay, I'm excited for this. I'm also a little cautiously optimistic, but I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. And then the other announcement, which I'm not surprised at this announcement. I'm surprised at how soon, although we don't have ETAs on any of these series yet, so we're probably still looking at least a year or two down the road, at least for these. But I have said that I fully expect this character to come into the MCU, eventually, just because we do have the OG crew working their way out. Tony Stark is dead, Cap has gotten old. Hulk is now Professor Hulk. So really we've got Thor left as far as the OG 6 Avengers,
right,
to keep going. So we need to, especially now with the whole Spider-Man thing, that we need to bring some younger blood into the MCU to keep this thing going. This will kind of give us our second generation. And once they get the Spider-Man thing figured out, obviously that will help. With the Hawkeye series, we're going to get Kate Bishop. She's a younger character, so we'll have her to help lead in the next generation. But I am surprised that we're actually getting this announcement this soon, and Kevin Feige has confirmed that this character will actually be appearing in the movies at some point. So, but we are getting Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel, but Miss Marvel, and the current iteration in the comics, which is Kamala Khan, who is the first Muslim superhero in the Marvel comics. But she has a teenager, and she has the power to enlarge or shrink any part of herself that she wants. So like when I went to Philly and went to the Marvel exhibit there at the Franklin Institute, they had a statue of Kamala Khan, and it was her in her outfit with her fist oversized, which is a common version that you see in images of her like flying through the air or doing whatever. Her fist is like comically large, using it almost like like a sledgehammer, and being able to knock things down and knock bad guys and that sort of thing. So but she calls herself Miss Marvel actually as a tribute to Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel. But yeah, Kevin Feige has said that her character will appear in future MCU films. So that is really cool, because I have been saying for a long time that I really thought that Kamala Khan was a character that they would bring in eventually to bring in a younger character that could help carry the MCU forward. And I'm pleasantly surprised that, we're getting that announcement now. So we're really only a few years away from seeing Kamala Khan become part of the MCU, which is really cool. I'm still waiting for Riri Williams. It's like, if we have to see no more Iron Man, I'm totally down for Ironheart. But one character at a time, I guess. And then the big, as if this wasn't big enough already, because this is D23, the really big presentation that most of the Disney fans are usually chomping at their nails waiting for is the big Disney Parks and Resorts presentation. That's where we get everything that's happening with the hotels, the theme parks, the cruise line, all that fun stuff, all the Disney properties around the globe. And once again, did not disappoint. Disney has released their first look at the newest cruise ship that is coming to the Disney Cruise Line. Along with the announcement, they are adding a new island, private island, or a new island destination, because Disney already has their one private island, Castaway Cay, in the Bahamas. But they've got 4 cruise ships now: the Magic, the Wonder, the Fantasy, and the Dream. I've been on 3 out of 4 at this point. Of course, they keep adding them, so it's like, oh, I'm almost done. Nope. I've almost been on all of them. Not anymore. But ship number 5 is going to be called the Disney Wish. Each ship is, from the outside, they all at first glance look the same. They are different sizes, and when you start looking at the details, you notice the differences as far as like the pool configurations up top. Some of them have the Aqua Duck, some of them have the Aqua Dunk, some of them don't have any. Each one's got its own character that hangs on the back of the ship where the ship's name is. In this case, the Wish is going to have Rapunzel hanging from the back, looking like she's painting the name of the ship on the back end of it. She's going to be kind of the embodiment of that ship, and therefore the atrium is also going to be inspired by that, with lots of, it's going to be very bright and airy, and very colorful. That ship will be ready in late 2021. It'll start sailing in early 2022. That is one of 3 new ships that are actually coming. So it's just we don't have an ETA on the other 2, and we don't have names yet for the other 2. And they are actually going to be bigger, slightly bigger, but bigger than the Dream and the Fantasy, which at the moment are the 2 largest ships. So with the Fantasy actually being the newest of the 4 current ships. But then they are also adding an island in the Bahamas. It's the island of, I'm sure I'm going to butcher this, Eleuthera. And it's a place called Lighthouse Point. And they are going to use it. It's going to be themed in a way to celebrate the stories of the Bahamas and the natural environment. So Joe Rohde is working on that, which he has worked on designs for Disney Animal Kingdom and Alani. which is their resort in Hawaii. So if anyone knows how to design something that's natural and kind of tropical and in that vibe, it's Joe Rohde. So that's cool. That's very cool. So right now they don't have an ETA when the island's actually going to be ready to start taking guests, because right now they are working on the environmental impact assessment. So, but they think construction could begin in 2020 and could be done by 2022 or 2023. That's cool. And then Disneyland, announcements for Disneyland is we've got a name for the Marvel area that is currently being constructed at Disney's California Adventure, where Bugs Land used to be and is now currently surrounded by construction walls, which a lot of them say Stark Industries on the outside of.
Nice.
If you
Of
watch,
course they do.
if you watch people's videos, if you watch Adam the Woo, he's in California, so he goes to Disneyland and Universal quite often to do construction updates and that sort of thing. So you can see those construction walls. But it's officially going to be called Avengers Campus.
Nice.
And it is going to open. Phase 1 is going to open in 2020, and it is set up by the Avengers to recruit the next generation of superheroes. So it's going to include the Worldwide Engineering Brigade, I can't speak, Brigade, also known as Web, which will house a new Spider-Man attraction, which, if you think about it, is kind of funny considering what's going on in the MCU with Spider-Man, but apparently theme park attractions do not count. So this is going to be a ride-through attraction featuring Spider-Man. The story is during an open house at Web. The aspiring inventors are excited to invite you, the guest, for a test drive of their latest invention, the Web Slinger vehicle, which allows you to sling webs just like Spider-Man. The attraction gives you a taste of what it's like to have an actual superpowers as you help Spider-Man collect spider bots that have run amok. The campus will also feature the PIM test kitchen.
Ooh.
Where you can use where PIM Technologies is using the latest innovations to grow and shrink food. They're calling it an eatery, so I'm assuming it's a restaurant of some sort. But it's going to be themed around PIM Tech.
Size Dole Whip, please.
Yeah, really. Like, can I get how big of a Dole Whip can I get?
Yes. Asking for a friend.
Yeah. Or how small of a Dole Whip can I get? Just so I can get the taste without the calories. You know, it's all about portion control.
Ant-Man size with the giant man size.
Exactly.
Take your pick.
Exactly. So you also find heroic encounters throughout the campus, including meeting characters like Black Widow, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Doctor Strange. Yes. The Guardians of the Galaxy, superheroes from Wakanda and Asgard, and Iron Man, which they have some of the Guardians already available since they made Tower of Terror now, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. They also have Black Panther and some of the Dora Milaje as meetable characters as well. So this will just be expanding upon that. And then also in the area will be the Avengers headquarters, where you may be able to catch a glimpse of the Avengers along the rooftops. And the building, which will open in phase 2, which we don't have a date for that, will become the entrance to a new attraction where you will get to ride a Quinjet and fly along with the adventures to places like Wakanda and other locations within the MCU.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Star Tours. If you've ever done Star Tours, but for the MCU, which I'm totally down for that.
Right?
And maybe buy a helicarrier or a Quinjet while we're at it.
Like, sold.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Galaxy's Edge. What? No, I will be at Avengers headquarters. Thank you.
Indeed.
Also debuting in spring of 2020 will be a new parade called Magic Happens. This will be, it's going to be a daytime parade. And of course, it will have Mickey Mouse and his pals, but it will also include characters like Moana on a float that looks like her canoe, and will invoke images of waves and include the koa wood carvings. There will also be a Coco-inspired float, which will include Miguel strumming the guitar of Ernesto de la Cruz, along with a bridge to the land of the living and the land of the dead, with the brightly colored marigolds, spirit animals, along with Dante, Miguel's dog. And then, of course, we can't have a Disney parade without the princesses. So the regal grand finale of the parade will celebrate magical moments from classic Disney stories, including the trio of fairies from Sleeping Beauty, who transforms Princess Aurora's gown from pink to blue and back again. Well, that's cool. And then Walt Disney World, which is in Florida, they have announced a new app for the guest coming to the Walt Disney World Resort called Disney Genie. Right now you have the My Disney Experience app. I don't know if this is going to work in tandem with it or if this will replace that. I have not seen anything that says one way or the other. But it will it'll work alongside the Magic Bands, which is what Disney uses, what you wear when you go to Walt Disney World. It works as your theme park ticket, as your key to get into your room. You can use it to pay for things, that sort of thing. But essentially it's a planning app where you can do customized itineraries based around your interests. So if you wanted to have a princess themed day at the Magic Kingdom, you could build an itinerary around that. Or you want to really focus on food while at Epcot, you could build an itinerary around that. And some of, apparently some of these features, if you have a travel agent, as we have discussed, you should use a Disney travel agent. When we had Becky Mankin on, go MEI Mouse Fan Travel. Tell them we sent you. Doesn't do anything for us, but we're like the warm fuzzies. So if you've got a Disney travel agent, some of these features you'll be able to work with them to build these itineraries. But I guess the big seller on this is that sometimes you may know exactly what you want to do, but you may not know the best time or order in which to do it. You'll be able to tell Disney Genie what you'd like to experience, and it will quickly evaluate millions of options to present you with an optimal day. And if you change your mind, it will re-optimize your day for you.
It sounds like something perfect for you.
Yeah, it's perfect for anybody. It can also give recommendations, help you navigate the theme parks, get real-time tips and updates, I'm sure including things like wait times and that sort of thing. And it will even help you make reservations.
Cool.
So that's kind of cool. And then Star Wars, because everybody loves Star Wars. Disney has released more information about the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, which is going to be the Star Wars, like, fully immersive hotel and theme park experience, I guess is the best way to put it. Essentially it's to stay at this particular hotel, I guess. It's going to be right now, I guess, limited to 2 nights, a 2-night stay, and they've got a specific itinerary built for that. So you are on board the Halcyon? Halcyon?
Halcyon sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. Where you will experience well-appointed cabins, onboard dining, and make a planet-side, I'm doing air quotes here, planet-side excursion to the Black Spire Outpost on Batuu, which is Galaxy's Edge and Disney's Hollywood Studios. But you will the story is that your adventure begins when you arrive at the Galactic Star Cruiser terminal at Walt Disney World and check in for your 2-night experience. You will be invited to enter a launch pod for transportation into space. Through windows above, you'll see yourself leave the real world behind as you jump into hyperspace and draw closer and closer to the Halcyon. When the launch pod docks with the Halcyon and the airlock opens, you will step into the ship's main deck atrium to begin your journey through a galaxy far, far away. A visit aboard becomes a multi-day story that interweaves with members of the crew, other passengers, familiar Star Wars characters, and excursion to Galaxy's Edge. The all-immersive experience includes activities such as wielding a lightsaber while facing off against a training remote, visiting the Star Cruiser's bridge, to learn about ship systems and how to operate them, including navigation and defense. Every window in the Halcyon, including those in each cabin, have a view of the galaxy beyond with ever-changing vistas as the ship progresses from place to place. You'll be able to explore the ship and perhaps discover hidden spaces deep within the mechanics of the ship. Because this is supposed to be completely immersive and interactive, choices you make during the adventure will help determine how your story progresses.
Ooh.
And I think at least somewhere Disney maybe has released what this approximately will cost. I've not seen it, but from what I've seen from people saying, the assumption is that this will be very expensive.
From that description, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, you're essentially asking for essentially 3 days, 2 nights at Disney, completely immersed in Star Wars, without anything else. So, I mean, if you're a big enough Star Wars fan, no amount of credits is going to matter.
It'll be one of those bucket list things.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
Yeah. And as time progresses and they figure out, get feedback from the guests, they will probably be able to adjust so that you could do a single night or maybe longer, depending on your budget. And, just depending on how long you stay, will determine how much you get to do. But, if someone doesn't have the budget to stay 2 nights, they can come up with ways for you to get the, at least some experience for 1 night. Or if you've got a bigger budget and you want to stay a week, we can get you immersed in Star Wars for a week. So, but they're just going with this 2-night right now, just, as they got to do something to start testing this thing out and see if it works, and then go from there. So, and I think it makes complete sense. 2 nights, I think, is a good starting point. I think 1 night would just be way too short. But I think 2 nights would be a good starter, and then go from there. So, start saving your pennies.
Mhm.
Dear Disney, we would gladly be some test subjects when the
Yes.
new Star Wars hotel opens. Please send our itinerary to Five-ish Fan.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll even we'll review it, have
Oh, yeah.
interviews, you know, that whole thing.
We'll review the heck out of it.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Don't worry, we could cover a lot of ground with 4 of us.
Yes.
Especially if like
YouTube, live, you name it, we can do it.
Mm-hmm. 4 grown adults with access to social media. We can do it.
yep.
See,
Uh,
And diehard fans to boot. Boy,
mhm.
hi,
howdy.
hello.
Yeah. And then last but certainly not least, again, kind of Disney's worst kept secret. We've known that major updates were coming to Epcot. It's at this point the park that is not seen a major facelift really anywhere in quite a while. It's had a few minor facelifts. Test Track got a retheming several years ago. The ride in the Norway Pavilion got changed over to Frozen. But it's like obviously the Magic Kingdom has gotten the Fantasyland, new Fantasyland in the last decade or so. And is getting the Tron attraction, which is currently under construction. Hollywood Studios, the Pixar area has gotten some work done since they added the 3rd track to Toy Story Midway Mania. Obviously, Galaxy's Edge has been doing previews. It officially opens in 2 days as we're recording this. Officially opens the public in 2 days. So that's affected that park. It's been a major change to that park. Animal Kingdom with Pandora has given that park a boost. So Epcot has just been kind of sitting there going, it'll be our turn eventually. Now it's their turn.
I saw one of the pictures of what one of the Tron uniforms looked like, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, it looks really cool. The people that have, because they have that attraction currently at Shanghai Disney, I believe, and the people that have been to it and have been on it said it is absolutely amazing. The Tron Light Cycle attraction. So that's gonna be super fun when it's open. But until then, or while they're finishing that up, they're going to start doing. They're already doing stuff at Epcot. They've taken out the Leave a Legacy. I don't want to say statues because they're not statues; they're kind of monoliths. As an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, that's a dangerous word to say, but that's the best description for them. They were these like stone blocks that they started this back in the 90s, I think, where for a certain amount of money, they would take your picture and they would put it on a metal plaque and it would go on one of these monoliths. So you could have like you and your family and like, you could do it just to celebrate an anniversary trip or, just whatever. My mom and I had one that had our faces on it until they took them down. But my mom and I had that done when we went back in 2006. So ours was there for close to 13 years. So that's pretty dang good. So they've taken those out. Because we knew, because that was in the area once you go in the gate before you get to Spaceship Earth, which is the giant, I don't want to say golf ball because it's not a golf ball.
Sphere.
Yeah, well, it's not smooth, so it's not a sphere either. It is a
Geodesic something.
it's a geodesic sphere. It's like, I know this. Don't take my Disney card from me. I know what it's called. It's a geodesic sphere. That houses an attraction inside there. So there were also fountains, some fountains and like planters with flowers, and they would put topiaries there during Flower and Garden and Food and Wine and other events at Epcot. So that entire area is just concrete now, so we knew that was changing. But now we know even more. So what they're going to do now, instead of Epcot being essentially two, I don't say worlds, but two parts of a larger whole, it's now going to be four. Because you had World Showcase, which is all of the countries, and that's where all the food is. Most of the food is. Not just during Food and Wine, but definitely during Food and Wine. There's a lot of food. I'm getting hungry. And then you have Future World, which is where you have your attractions like Test Track and Mission Space and Soarin' and things like that. And essentially what it was is because Epcot originally was actually supposed to be an actual working city. We're gonna get your little Cliff Notes Disney history here. So Epcot was supposed to be the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Walt saw it as an actual working city where Disney employees would live and go to the grocery store and go to the hospital and go to the doctor and that sort of thing on Disney property, where they would have future forms of transportation that were more environmentally friendly and that sort of thing. So it's supposed to be the city of tomorrow is what it was. Walt was never able to get that off the ground. At the same time, the powers that be wanted, when they were starting to come up with the idea of a second park in Florida, they wanted something like maybe like a World's Fair, where you could have, if you know anything about the World's Fairs that we've had throughout history, is there would be some rides that you could ride. That's where It's a Small World made its debut, actually, was at the World's Fair way back in the day. But it was also an opportunity for companies like GE and companies like that to show off the latest and greatest technology and their ideas for technology for the future and that sort of thing. So that's where Future World kind of came from, is the idea of kind of a World's Fair showing off technology coming down the pipeline and what the future may hold as far as things that will help people. And then World Showcase, instead of it being an actual like city, it was more of a let's show how people in different parts of the world, let's show their cultures. And I guess they had a model for one, a model for another, and some Imagineer at some point. I don't know I don't know who it's attributed to, because I think they don't know for sure. But at some point, some Imagineer just kind of took the two models and shoved them together. They're like, here we go, one big park, and that's how we got Epcot. So we got Future World Showcase. All right, so you can look at the map. You can see kind of the delineation of where one begins and the other ends. So now what they're going to do is break it up into 4 sections. So we will still have World Showcase. And then we're going to have World Celebration, World Nature, and World Discovery. So in World Showcase, it will continue to be the amazing collection of food and culture and food and attractions and food.
I'm guessing like some food in there?
Just a little. Just a little.
You know, if you got time for a quick lunch or something while you're out.
Yeah, you might be able to find something to tide you over until your next meal. Please subscribe. I am a follower of the Lou Mangello Church of Disney. Attractions are just these things you do in between meals. But we are getting a new attraction in the form of a Mary Poppins themed attraction in the UK pavilion, because the UK pavilion at the moment does not have an actual attraction. It has food, obviously, and shopping and musical entertainment and character meet and greets, but it doesn't have an actual attraction. So now we are getting a Mary Poppins themed, which we don't really know a whole lot about. A lot of people are assuming it's probably going to be a dark ride similar to like Peter Pan or Snow White Scary Adventures or something like that, which that's probably a logical guess. So that will be fun because I love Mary Poppins. As we know, Illuminations, the nighttime fireworks spectacular, is going away. There is a temporary show called Epcot Forever, which will be taking its place as they work on the new show, which now is officially called Harmony Us, with an emphasis on the us, not as in United States, but us as in us as a human race. It is being touted as the largest nighttime spectacular ever created for a Disney park. It will celebrate how the music of Disney inspires people the world over, carrying you away harmoniously to a stream of familiar Disney tunes reinterpreted by a diverse group of artists from around the globe. And it's going to have floating set pieces, custom LED panels, moving fountains, lights, pyro, lasers, and more. And that is set to debut in 2020. Also in 2020, the France Pavilion is going to see the opening of Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, which is an attraction that already exists at Disneyland Paris. Which apparently it's quite a fun attraction. 2020 will also see the debut of a new restaurant. So food. It'll be La Crêperie de Paris. And that's going to be a table and quick service restaurant. The impressions, the current film, which is not a 360 film, it's just a regular flat screen film, but it is, which is Impressions de France. But they are also going to be adding I guess attraction or show, called Beauty and the Beast Sing Along. And it's directed by Don Hahn, who is just a Disney legend. So that's cool. And then Canada and China are both getting new Circle Vision movies, which are the 360 movies. And those are supposed, Canada's is supposed to debut in January of 2020, and I don't have a date for China's. So if you really love Canada's current one and Martin Short, you need to get to the World Showcase and say bye to Martin Short, because he's going bye-bye. So that's World Showcase. World Celebration is going to offer new experiences that connect us to one another and the world around us. Spaceship Earth, which is the geodesic sphere, is going to continue to have its theme as its journey through time, reflecting the power of storytelling and how it unites the human experience, but it is going to get new narration again, an entirely new musical score, which the music I don't think has really changed in quite a long time. The narration has changed. I don't remember. I wrote it like once back when it was still Jeremy Irons. Was it Jeremy Irons or Walter Cronkite? I don't remember in which order they were. It may have been Jeremy Irons because I think it was Walter Cronkite, then Jeremy Irons, and now it's Judi Dench. But Judi Dench has been the narrator for quite a while. So it'll probably, once again, somebody recognizable as a narrator. Probably someone with ties to Disney. Let's see. There's going to be a new pavilion that will be a location for live events, and the home base will be the home base for Disney or for Epcot's festivals like Food and Wine, Flower and Garden. It will provide an elevated view of the entire park, including a spot to watch the new nighttime show, which that's kind of cool because we always are in need of new spots to watch the nighttime stuff. So it's going to be 3 levels. It's going to have a plaza level, middle expo level, and a park that sits in the sky on the top level. So it'd be interesting to see how they handle as far as people wanting to use that location to watch the fireworks, if that's something that you'll be able to reserve or first come first serve. Interesting. Let's see. Obviously, I talked about the entrance plaza with the Leave a Legacy. So they're going to put in new fountains, new green spaces. And when you exit Spaceship Earth, it is going to exit into what they're calling Dreamers Points, which will have gardens and other elements, including a wishing tree and an enchanted forest and a story fountain and a new statue of Walt, which looks really cool if you've seen pictures of it. We're always down for making sure that Walt is commemorated somewhere because we have the partner statue in Magic Kingdom. And then if you go to DCA, there is a statue of Walt, a young Walt from when he first got to Hollywood. And you can just kind of go up and stick your arm around his shoulders and take a picture with Walt. I can't do that with the partner statue, but you can do that at DCA. And it looks like this statue of Walt will be one that people can actually get up close to. So that's kind of cool. World Nature is going to be dedicated to understanding and preserving the beauty, awe, and balance of the natural world. That's if you look at a map of current Epcot, that is going to be where the land and the seas with Nemo and Friends currently are. There's going to be a new attraction called Journey of Water, inspired by Moana. And then the Land Pavilion is getting a new film called Awesome Planet. And then World Discovery, which is on the side where Test Track and Mission Space are. That's where the Guardians of the Galaxy attraction, which is currently under construction, is already located. It's just not complete yet. It's going to be called Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's the premise is the adventure starts in the Galaxarium, a planetarium-like exhibition that explores the similarities and mysteries of the formation of Earth's galaxy and Xandar. You will be invited to learn more about the treasures Xandar has to share until the moment when the Guardians of the Galaxy arrive and adventures across the cosmos ensue. The attraction will feature a new innovation for Walt Disney Imagineering, a storytelling coaster that rotates 360 degrees to focus your attention on the action, including the very first reverse launch on a Disney coaster.
That sounds amazing.
I know, it's awesome. And then the Mission Space Pavilion is expanding, which they actually announced this at the last D23 Expo that we were getting a restaurant, space-themed restaurant. It's going to be called Space 220. So it's going to it's going to feature a celestial panorama of a space station, including daytime and nighttime views of Earth from 220 miles up.
Huh.
Neat.
And then the Play Pavilion will open in time for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, which is in 2021. In this area, you will discover an interactive city bursting with games, activities, and experiences that will connect you with friends, family, and beloved Disney characters, both real and virtual, like never before. As part of this new pavilion, you will have the chance to help legendary fashion icon Edna Mode on her quest to rid the world of uninspired style, or make a splash competing in a water balloon fight hosted by Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Webby.
And remember, no capes.
No capes. So that's just a lot of exciting stuff happening.
Yes.
I think they also announced that Shanghai Disney or Hong Kong Disney, I think it's Hong Kong Disney, their castle's getting a facelift, a makeover, and I'm sure there are other things that I forgot to write down, but there was just a heck of a lot to keep up on.
Yeah.
What was coming out of all these announcements. So it's a good time to be a Disney fan. Probably not the best time to go to the parks if you don't like construction. Because there's, as soon as one thing opens, another thing is going to go behind construction walls, if not already. Like I said, Galaxy's Edge opens at Walt Disney World officially 2 days from now, but the construction walls are still up for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at the studios. So there's still construction walls for that. Obviously, the Guardians of the Galaxy attraction is not due to open until 2021. The Tron ride's not expected to open until 2021. So, if you want to go, just be prepared that there's going to be construction walls for stuff. Stuff's going to be closing. Things are changing, all for the better. But big changes are happening at the Disney parks on both coasts, and some of the overseas as well. The Spider-Man attraction that they're getting at DCA is also going in at Disneyland Paris. It's going to open later, but they're also getting it there as well. So, as much as I love going to Disneyland and Walt Disney World, at the moment, I'm kind of okay with not going. Let the construction dust settle a little bit, and then I will go back and just be, there'll just be all this brand new stuff, and I can just be like, oh, and then wonder why.
Have the bugs all worked out, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Let the lines die down a bit if you
That'll
can.
never happen.
Well, more
point.
than yeah.
Yeah. This is why you get a Disney travel professional. They can help you come with an itinerary so you don't waste your entire time standing in line.
Indeed. Yep.
MEI Mouse Fan Travel, # not a sponsor.
Just a very, very good idea.
Yes.
Anyway. So yeah, that was like a whole big lot of Disney, all the things, and we just kind of backed up the dump truck, and there it is.
And who knows what we're gonna have 2 more years from now when we have another one.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay. Well, in 2 years, all this stuff will be open, and then they'll announce more stuff that's going to go behind construction walls. So there you go.
Yes, probably.
Yeah. So anyway, if any of our listeners, if you missed what we were talking about or want to review it, we'll have links up on our website. And that website again is the5ishfangirls.com. You can also send us feedback if you want to talk about your favorite thing about D23 Expo. If there's something we didn't talk about because there's stuff we missed. Let us know at our website, or our email address is 5ishfangirls@gmail.com. And also at our website, you can, go to all of our social media links, leave us comments on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, download us on iTunes and all the other great places. We're on Google Play, Stitcher, and you can also help support the podcast through Patreon, our Amazon store, our merch shop. And we appreciate all of our supporters, participants, feedbackers. You guys are great. So fist bumps to all. And happy Disney fandom Christmas.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Oh.
That was quite the haul, guys.
Yes.
Yes.
That was. All right. Well, with that, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany and Bethlehem saying goodnight.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Sally from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. I got my mouse ears. I'll meet y'all at the churro stand.
Churros!
Churros! First round of churros is on me.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Do they offer a side cup of chocolate?
Heck yeah.
Listening to the 5ish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at the5ishfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and any other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you wish to support the show, the easiest way is to leave us a rating and review on iTunes. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/5ishfangirlspodcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to keep the show going. For official 5ish Fangirls merchandise, visit redbubble.com/people/5ishfangirls. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at 5ishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/5ishfangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and may the squee be with you.